Roulettesystem Tarzan Roulette SelMckenzie Selzer-McKenzie. Author Selzer-McKenzie. This is an original system by Selzer-McKenzie. It has never been published before. Using $1 chips, you can expect to profit $60 an hour. Losing sessions are very rare. About 2 per 1,000 spins. The system 2 bets are made on every spin, 9, 1, to 18, and the third dozen, 25, to 36. The 118 bet on the outside of the roulette table covers the numbers 1 to 18. This bet pays even money, meaning that a $1 bet pays $1 if any of the numbers 1 to 18 come up in the next spin. The third dozen or third 12 bet on the outside of the roulette table covers the numbers 25 to 36. This bet pays 2 to 1. Meaning that a $1 bet pays $2 if any of the numbers 25 to 36 come up in the next spin. The amount of chips placed on each bet is important. You must put 3 chips on 118 and 2 chips on the third dozen. Doing so, if 1 to 18 comes up, you win 3 chips on 1 to 18 and lose 2 chips on 25 to 36, for a profit of 1 chip. If 25 to 36 comes up, you win 4 chips on that bet and lose 3 chips on 1 to 18 for a profit of 1 chip. Placing the 2 bets together, 1 to 18 and the third dozen, you can cover 30 numbers on the roulette layout with just 2 chips. Only 8 numbers, 7 on a single 0 wheel, can make you lose 0,00, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 and 24. How many times in a row can the 2 bets lose? You will be very happy to know that the 2 bets together guarantee you lose very often and not too many times in a row. That's because on every spin you have 30 chances of winning versus only 8 chances of losing. The odds of winning are tremendously in their favor. After thousands of test spins using recorded casino spins, the most times in a row the 2 bets lost were 4 times. 4 times in a row is incredible. In an average 1,000 spins, there should be 210 single losses, 42 in a row losses, 9 3 in a row losses, 2 4 in a row losses and 0 5 in a row or more losses. These numbers are based on mathematical probability. During our testing, the numbers varied from each group of 1,000 spins, but not by much. We have never seen a 5 in a row loss in our testing. This doesn't mean 5 in a row or more are not possible. Anything is possible, but the odds against seeing 5 in a row losses or more are astronomical. On average, you will experience a 12 in a row or more loss once every 40 spins. With such a low losses in a row rate, you can formulate simple winning progressions to take advantage of these great odds. A winning progression if any one of the 8 losing numbers come up, 0,00, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 or 24, you lose both bets for a total loss of 5 chips. If you bet 5 chips on every spin, you will lose money in the long run. However, if you increase your 2 bets after a loss, you will win more money in the long term than you lose in the short term. Here is an example of a winning progression. Our basic bet is 3/2, 3 chips on 1 to 18 and 2 chips on the third dozen. Continue to bet 3/2 until you have a loss, when 0,00, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 or 24 comes up. After your first losing bet, increase your bet to 9/6, 9 chips on 1 to 18 and 6 chips on the third dozen. If the bet wins, continue to bet 9/6 for the next bet. If that wins, you have then made a 1 unit profit. Once in profit, go back to the basic bet of 3/2. For example, the first spin is 21. You lose 5 chips. Your next bet is 9 chips on 1 to 18 and 6 chips on the third dozen. The next spin is 4. You win 9 chips on 1 to 18 and lose 6 chips on the third dozen for a profit of 3 chips. When you subtract the 5 chips you lost on the first spin, you are still down 2 chips. Your next bet is again 9 and 6 chips. The next spin is 7. Your profit for this spin is again 3 chips. Add that to your -2 chips and you are ahead 1 chip. You now go back to your basic bet of 3/2 chips. 2 losses in a row if the bet of 9/6 loses. Your next bet is 33/22, 33 chips on 1, to 18 and 22 chips on the third dozen. If this bet wins, continue to bet 33/22 for the next spin. If this bet also wins, you have now made a 1 unit profit and can go back to the basic bet of 3/2. 3 losses in a row if the bet of 33/22 loses. Your next bet is 74/36, 74 chips on 1, to 18 and 36 chips on the third dozen. If this bet wins, continue to bet 74/36 for the next spin. If this bet also wins, you have now made a 1 unit profit and can go back to the basic bet of 3/2. If this bet loses, take the $185 loss and play again later. In an average 1,000 spins you should win $630. $1,000 minus 2 losses of $185 each. As stated earlier, you should only experience 2 4-in-a-row losses per 1,000 spins. The above progression is the one we use when we play this system. You can experiment with your own progressions if you do like. Converting 4-in-a-row losses to winners, we have found a secret that eliminates most 4-in-a-row losses. Anytime one of the 8 losing numbers shows up, switch to the opposite 2 bets for the next bet. On the next bet after a loss, place 9 chips on 19, to 36 and 6 chips on the first dozen. Then, switch back to your normal bets. Consider this sequence of spins: 1-9, 2-1, 1-9, 2-3, 19, 21, betting on 19, to 36 and the first dozen turns this into a win. 19, switching back to 1, to 18/3rd dozen turns this into 1 loss. 23, betting on 19, to 36 and the first dozen turns this into a win.